we're interviewing vo-tech teachers to see what they do and different things like that. And we're probably going to put this on the stool board. I'm not really sure, but just feel comfortable to answer any way you want. And if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
See how polite I can be when I'm on film.
Yeah. All right. The first question is, please explain what happens in your class.
Well, it varies between classes. I have 5 different preparation periods, so it's a little tough. I teach child development, and it is totally different than nutrition, which you're in. And I also teach advanced life science foods and college and career preparation and interpersonal relations. So they are all different types of classes, and the types of kids are all different. So each class we try to do some type of projects. I try to get kids to discuss, to think, to express their views and opinions, so they are being heard. If someone is just constantly just talking and talking and talking and doesn't listen, that's not really being a good teacher.
Yeah.
Because I want you to think. That's really my job, is to get you to think. I can give you some information, but I want you to think about it, and when we discuss, I get your opinions, and that way you know I also value your opinion.
Yeah.
And I think kids need more of that.
Then another question is, how could this class be beneficial?
Each of the class has different ways it can be beneficial. Child development is if you enjoy working with children and it's something you want to do as a career. Also, you get some very good parenting advice and know what to look for to make sure that your own children are meeting milestones, and how to handle tough parenting situations. Advanced Life Science Foods is basically a science class. Not my favorite class, and it won't be taught again, at least for a few years. But you get a look at how food is made and, what we're putting into our bodies. Nutrition, we do cook a little bit, but I've also really tried to hit hard about food safety, about what you are actually doing to your body when you are eating things that you probably shouldn't, and hopefully it'll make you think twice before eating that donut. College and career preparations mainly for freshmen, and we do guest speakers from different professions come in and speak. We also go to every classroom in this building, in the Career Center, and the teachers talk about what they do. They show the kids what they do, and a lot of times they do hands-on for 2 or 3 days to get an idea if they want to take those classes, and if it's something they may want to do in the future. We also work on resumes, job applications, interview skills, and interpersonal relations. We talk about conflict, how to resolve conflict. We talk about love relationships, romantic relationships, dating, also about different types of personalities and how, not everyone has their same personality as someone else. And we also talk about mental illness, and we talk about sexually transmitted diseases as well in that class. And so we do a lot.
Another question is your class fun, and why is it fun?
Well, I have 2 students right here.
Yes.
That is true.
I try not to make it too boring. I know that the lecture or whatever, discussion maybe isn't the most fun, but at least, you don't have to sit there silent and take notes. I want to hear your view. You can hear my view. We can discuss it. And Caitlin, why do you think it's fun?
I don't know. I mean, because you don't like make us like you get our opinion on it, I guess, and it's talking back and forth.
It's
Other than like we put out what we think and ask questions. When in other classes, we may not be able to do that.
Yeah, and I try to make my classroom very comfortable, get to know each of the kids, as much as I can, and I get to know their personalities, and so I do try to make it fun. We do some fun stuff in there. We do the baby project, which I find really fun.
I thought it was very like you learned from it.
It's
You
a great
definitely
learning
learn.
experience, and
You don't have kids.
it's funny to see they're so excited to get the fake babies, and then
The next day, we're like, I don't want
Satan
this.
wrapped in plastic, taking it back. And it's like, yep. So I enjoy doing that. I enjoy you guys doing like posters or papers and stuff like that and it gives you a chance to show your knowledge.
Yeah.
I do. I'm not your typical teacher at all. And I tell my kids that when you walk in my classroom, that's it. You're my kids forever. And I'm going to love you. Whether I like you, I'm going to love you. And I'm going to treat you like my own. So.
Yeah, alright. Next question. I know you haven't been here for very long. This is probably your first year teaching. But how has VOTEC changed over the years for the better or worse?
I have actually taught here this is my 8th year. I taught child care for 7 years. This is my first year back doing family consumer science. It's been tough going from one to the other. And I was used to basically all girls, 3-hour classes at a time, and pretty much all on the same subject. And this is such a wide variety of subjects. And I found out 3 days before school started that I was going to be doing that. So it's been a tough year, but I've learned a lot, and it's helped that I've had some really great kids.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. It has changed in some ways. Trying to think. I think the staff is now more experienced. Some of the newer ones that came in when I came in we're now more experienced. We know what we're doing. We know how to handle problems a little bit better, and how to deal with things. It's a positive place. Most kids like to be over here a lot. They feel more comfortable over here. It's more of a family feeling situation over here than it is, over there.
Another question is, what would you think to say to a person who has never taken a vocational class, kind of like 8th graders that are upcoming to the school?
I would say definitely try it. You're going to get a lot of hands-on experience. You're going to get a lot of skills for careers later on. You could also determine, what your interests are. Because if you find that in my career class, when we go to welding, you really like it, you're going to take that class. And then that may be something that you can use as a career and get paid very well for. So those are the types of things that I really like, is to see the kids be really interested in something. So, like I said, there's a lot of different experiences over here, and overall it's a very positive place.
I have another question, but I'm going to save that one for a moment and ask you some questions of my own.
Huh?
I'm
Okay.
gonna save this question for
All right.
a moment, but how do you think the kids like the class? Don't know if I just asked that just a while ago, but
I think most of the kids like my classes, some better than others. The subject matter, in like ALS foods, it's not a real exciting class. I mean, there's only, it's just not. But I try to at least, like I said, make it interesting and ask about their experiences. Um, I don't have a whole lot of discipline problems, but when I do, I handle them. And I think most kids enjoy coming to my class. A lot of them come back year after year. At least they did in my child care, and I have several that have said they are going to take it next year, something next year. And so for the most part, I think kids really like the classes. And like I said, it's more of a home-like environment, and we get to know each other very well, and we feel comfortable enough around each other to discuss things.
do you think the kids enjoy projects that you might be doing?
Sometimes. Sometimes probably not. But it's part of the learning process and I like to have them read a poster or read a paper, because the sooner you start speaking in front of people, the easier it gets as you go. Because it's not an easy thing. Even when you know someone or you know your classmates very well, it's still a little hard. And there are days that it's hard for me. And I hope they enjoy it some. I hope they learn something. And I hope they had fun doing it.
Yeah.
So,
And the final question, and this is optional. If you don't want to answer it, you can or can't.
okay.
But what was your favorite memory with Mr. Taylor?
Oh, I love Mr. Taylor. He was probably one of my best friends here, and he lives in my heart. And it really has nothing to do with the classroom, but I'd come in the morning, he'd give me that little grin of his, and he goes, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" "You don't look very good." I'm like, "Really?" And he's like, "Look like you got hit by a bus." He's like, "Well, at least your face did."
Wow.
He's like, "Someone beat you up?" And I could come into his office and literally cry about, and he would be there and listen to me, and one of the very, if not the very best man, other than my daddy, that I have ever met. So he's very missed.
Yeah.
And never forget him. And I'm lucky to have become real good friends with his wife since his death. And I treasure that friendship. And I know why Mr. Taylor loved her.
Yeah.
And I know she loved him.